This video is a step-by-step guide of how to fill in a case review form, also known as a SEND45 form. The SEND45 form informs the tribunal about the present matters requiring judgment, helping all parties to concentrate on the main issues at hand. The first thing to complete on the case review form is the child or young person's full name and the appeal number. This is the number at the top of the case directions and will start with the H. Section 1 is where the parent, carer, or young person should tick the box of any outstanding issues that the tribunal need to make a decision on. If the appeal was lodged for multiple issues but some have been resolved, the parent, carer, or young person leaves the boxes blank of anything already agreed. The parent, carer, or young person can tick as many boxes as are relevant. Section 2 is asking if there is a working document. If there is not, the parent, carer, or young person should tick the No box. For parent, carers, or the young people who do have a working document because the appeal is about sections B and or F, they need to tick the Yes box and give details of what the latest version of the working document is and the date on the working document. This working document also needs to be sent with the case review form. Section 3 is where the parent, carer, or young person needs to list the headline issues that are outstanding between the parties which are to be decided by the tribunal. Section 4 is for cases in which the tribunal must make a decision on the educational placement. The parent, carer, or young person must clarify if the child or young person is attending a school or college. And if the answer is no, they need to add details of when the child or young person last attended as well as any educational provision they are receiving now. Section 5 is asking for the name and address of the school or post-16 setting that the parent, carer, or young person is requesting. Again, this section only needs to be completed in Section I appeals. Section 6 is also only required for Section I appeals. This section asks for the name and address of the school or post-16 setting that is being proposed by the local authority. Section 7 asks for the parent, carer, or young person to give details about readiness for hearing. If the parent, carer, or young person feels the appeal is ready to be decided at a final hearing, they tick the Yes box and go to question 10. If the parent, carer, or young person does not feel the appeal is ready to be heard, they must tick the No box and explain their reasons why as well as when it is likely to be ready for a hearing. This could, for example, be because the parent, carer, or young person is waiting for a report from a professional. If the parent, carer, or young person does not feel the appeal is ready to be heard, and they have ticked the No box, this next section asks if a new timetable is wanted. If a new timetable is required, then the parent, carer, or young person can make suggestions of what this new timetable should look like in the boxes in this section. Next is Section 9. This section asks if the parent, carer, or young person has a representative acting for them. If the answer is no, the No box can be ticked, and then go to Section 11. If the parent, carer, or young person does have a representative, the Yes box needs to be ticked and details of the representative given in the boxes below. This is not the same as an advocate, and the next section will ask for details about parent supporter or advocate. Here in Section 10 is where a parent, carer, or young person would state if they have a parental supporter or an advocate that will be attending the hearing with them. As you can see from the note on this section, this is different from a representative. They will support the parent or young person at the hearing but not represent them in the appeal or help them express their views. If the answer is yes, the person's name and status needs to be completed. Section 11 asks for details of any witnesses that the parent, carer, or young person would like to attend the hearing. It is okay for the parent, carer, or young person to not have any witnesses if they feel the written evidence is sufficient. But if the parent, carer, or young person does want witnesses, the details need to be filled in here. If there are witnesses that will be attending the hearing, they must have provided a written report or witness statement as written evidence in the appeal. If they have not, the parent, carer, or young person must explain why here. If they have, the yes box can be ticked. In Section 13, the parent, carer, or young person needs to state any special requirements that they, or their witnesses need. This can be things such as documents in alternative formats, help with communicating, or something else to feel comfortable at a hearing. Next, in Section 14, the form asks if the parent, carer, or young person consents to the appeal being decided by a tribunal on the documents without taking part in an oral hearing. For this to happen, it needs to be agreed by both parties and a judge. If this was agreed, the decision would be based on the evidence that had been submitted. If the parent, carer, or young person feels their evidence is strong and they would be happy with a paper hearing, they should tick yes. If they would prefer to have an oral hearing, they should tick no. Section 15 asks for if there is anything else the parent, carer, or young person would like to tell the tribunal about the hearing. Lastly, Section 16 is where the parent, carer, or young person needs to sign and print their name. Finally, send the completed SEND45 form to send@justice.gov.uk. Using the following format in the subject line. Current hearing date, appeal number which will start the child or young person's full name, subject, which would be case review form. When sending, parent, carer, or the young person must remember to copy in the local authority. For more information about appealing to the SEND Tribunal, please see our Appealing to the SEND Tribunal resource section.